Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the Evolution Hour with hosts Rob Gauthier and George Spirakis. Hey everybody, this is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we're back today for week 16 of the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour, which is in the process of going through a little overhaul, a little revamping. Me and George have thought of a couple great ideas to get the show going in a more intense direction. We know that you guys love the show. We appreciate all the communication, all the advice, all the ideas, and we figure we're going to do a little work and do a couple things to get you guys some more intense and directed information. A lot of times we just jump on here and grab the mics and have fun. And that's fun and great, and that's exciting. But sometimes we have to repeat a lot of the same information due to callers asking questions of the same nature, things like that. So we're going to do a couple different things to get out the information a lot better. And this is a show that we do every week at Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we do it every week out of the kindness of our heart because we love you guys and we love raising the collective. We love the information here. Donations are welcome, too. That helps us with the small cost that we have, and that's on Blog Talk Radio. If you go to any of our posted or archive shows, there's always a link to that. People have been donating very, very regularly, and it only takes a couple dollars. We get 1,000 listeners a week, average less than 10, 15 cents per person, and that breaks it down perfectly. If you don't want to donate, you don't have to, because we still would be glad to cover it out of our own pocket because we love this show this much. This is how much it excites us. What about you, brother? What's been going on with you? What has been new in your life lately?
Not too much, brother. Just excited to be back for another episode of the show, and want to thank all of our listeners for chiming in, and look forward to a great show.
Oh, absolutely. Every week is a great show because it's from our heart, it's from your guys' heart, and it's a beautiful and wonderful co-creation. We have a couple callers online real quick, and we'll grab you guys in a second. Last Sunday, we were going to do the Open Forum 22, which is something that was really exciting. Unfortunately, Brother George, you had a last-minute change of scheduling, which is everyone understands how that works. But me and George have been talking about it, and we want to get that back on track very, very soon. So by next week's show, we should have a date and a time ready for the new scheduled Open Forum 22, because I know, brother, that's one of your favorite things in life, too, is doing the sessions and the show.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's this kind of new format that we're going to do where we actually break down and try to decipher what Treb is actually saying, because all of these channeling sessions are coded in a way. There's a message between the message, and so for our listeners and to be able to get really the full meaning of what to get a deeper meaning into what Treb is actually saying.
Sorry about that, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just you had cut off for a second, and you're back on now. And forgive us, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the Blog Talk Radio does that to us. It gives us a rough broadcasting call. And what are some of the other revamps that we talked about? I know, like getting into the channeling, breaking it down, but talk about the exclusive channeling that we're going to be doing only for the show.
Yeah, we're going to be doing it's going to be kind of like a current events each week where we get a kind of dial in on the energies for that current week, some guidance from Treb on how we should be moving and adjusting through those different frequencies that are coming to the earth at any given time. And it should be great. I'm really excited about it because any new information is wonderful for all of us to really understand our own divinity and to realize that we're here for this experience. We signed up for it. So any little bit of information helps us get to that goal of remembering why we chose the certain circumstances in our life and why these things happen, and we can start making sense of it all. So I'm really excited, brother.
Absolutely, brother, and I think it was a great idea, too, to go through that and do that. It gives you the opportunity to focus in on your strong points. And for those who don't know a lot about George before this show, he's been with the Treb Channeling team for the last 2 years. He's been a vital part of it. He's the one who had the idea for the open forum set up, which is where we take questions from the public, and he'll ask them to Treb beforehand. He'll get all the questions around and ask Treb, and it's a nice environment so that everyone can get their questions answered. But also, he has a very special gift from his higher self. He's what I call a spiritual decoder, a channeling decoder. He takes all the spiritual information that's coming from either channeling or just from people who have expressed it in one means or another, and he's able to break it down to such a poignant degree. It's literally reading between the lines. There's always messages in channeling that is not spoken. It's messages between the messages, and George is beautiful with doing that. And obviously, with my own channeling, I'm able to be real knowledgeable. I have a good understanding of how Treb is with his information, and sometimes when he gets either a little tricky or when he's being a certain way delivering the information, I can really understand it from a good perspective too. So we'll take both of our strengths and continuously flow that into this show, because that's what the show's about, is getting the most out of our daily life experiences, taking our consciousness, integrating it with a collective, and learning from the material that we've been fortunate enough to be exposed to. So we're going to dedicate one session per week where me and George will do a private session with Treb, and that'll be exclusive material just for the show. So one channeling per week about current information, current energies, anything that's going on around the world and the metaphysical standpoint from it, and we'll be able to break that down. And we'll dedicate a certain amount of time on the show to do that, and then after that we'll be taking callers with any information about what was talked about that day or just anything that they need to know, just as we've done since the beginning of the show. The calling part is a very vital bloodline to this show. It's about you guys learning what you need to learn, what you want to learn, taking experiences, and helping teach not only us, but the collective and everyone else who's listening. And we appreciate you guys more than you ever know.
Yeah, brother, that's really really exciting. This should really open up the in terms of the thoughts and experiences that we need to start to incorporate in our everyday lives, so we can let go of those thoughts of self-worth and judgment and things that those kind of forgetful emotions that keep us from understanding who we really are, our true divinity, and that we are all one and we are all love. So it's, like I said, we'll get into it more and more as we go through these aspects of the sessions, and again, I really look forward to it.
Absolutely, brother, and so do I. What we have today, we've got a few different clips that are a couple minutes of some of the messages that Trev's had previously, and we wanted to break those down. But what do you think, brother? You think we should go to the calls first, or start a clip up and break that down in a session?
Well, we could take a call and see if what, rather than have them wait, because they can always listen to it as we continue on. But yeah, feel free to take a call and we'll say hi and see what they have to say.
Absolutely, brother. And we've got two calls. One of them, I believe, is here just to listen. But so we'll go to the second caller first, and that's a 360 area code. 360. Who do we have with us this evening? Hello. Call 360. Yeah.
Hello, this is Risha calling.
How are you doing?
Hi, Risha.
I'm doing great. I couldn't actually. I just called to listen, but I just want to support you guys so much. I really appreciate what you're doing. I think it's really needed on the planet right now. It just thrills me that you're bringing this information through for all of us. And I sort of do have a question now that I'm on the line, and that would be that some of my friends from the Pleiades have been saying that since the Earth is going through an ascension process, right now we're in the midst, all of us, along with the planet, through this ascension process of perhaps changing our physical forms to a more fluid rainbow body form that's more fluid. And I just wonder if Treb has any information about that.
Oh, absolutely. There's been a lot of channelers who have covered a lot of that stuff. Is there any insight you have on this, brother? Also?
Well, I think what Risha is talking about is as we're moving, kind of transitioning back and forth between the third, fourth, and fifth density, that these different energies and thoughts are here for us, but we really have to raise our vibration to be able to meet the. In other words, things are not really static anymore. They're if our vibrations are raised high enough, we can actually move to these different realities and experience these wonderful things that are normally thought of on a quantum level. There's things that we're going to be able to experience as we raise our vibration that will give us a little bit more comfort level, because of course we couldn't switch right away, or else everybody would freak out. It's really wonderful how they planned it all out, where we can kind of, as we're learning and as we're raising our vibration, to be able to experience these things around us. The entities around us, the ability to more quickly change our reality in any given moment. So I think that's what she's meaning, because we are actually moving towards a lighter body. If you notice the different changes in the body, the purging of kind of the lower chakra emotional things that we have to let go of to be able to experience and move through the higher chakras to be able to raise the vibration. So yeah, it's she's exactly right.
Absolutely, brother. And some of the things that Treb said about that too, the third to fourth density process or growth comes as a rapid pace as we wish it to be.
Right.
There's 3 waves of consciousness with an ascensional process. The very first one are the ones that people label starseeds, people who come from higher densities to incarnate here through this life to help us with the ascensional process. And as many people believe they are starseeds, they're not really. They are earthbound entities. A lot of them are. They're just getting in touch with their higher self, with higher portions, just like we all have and are capable of having. But first level is coming the starseeds. The second level comes to people who are very aware. And this can come slowly or quickly depending on how people are. And the third level are people who are unaware, and that's the longest group. That's the one that usually takes the longest and is the majority of the planet fits in that category. So collectively, we can't change ourselves physically collectively until most of us on the planet are on board with the ascensional process itself. But as we speak, the energies from ascension come through and they change DNA. They activate more DNA markers within ourselves, and that activates quicker manifestational properties, quicker abilities to heal yourself, all these different things. Now, as far as physical makeup of the physical body, fifth density entities are very light. Sixth density entities are considered semi-physical, so those are almost, to us, it would appear like they barely exist or like they are light beings. Fourth density is more massive than the fifth and sixth, but it's less massive than us. So a fourth density is a little bit lighter than what we think ghosts, entities that have passed on from their life. So as we experience that, when when we change the fourth density, the people around us, the collective, won't notice a change. Because when you're a fourth density entity in fourth density, everything seems just as physical as it does to you when you're in the third density, living in a third density reality. Because the whole collective changes their entire physical makeup and vibration, then it's not really noticeable. Treb explains that I am just as physical as you, but compared to you, you can't see me that physically. And that's why the higher density entities are able to observe entities who are below themselves in the density or harmonic levels, but we can't notice them upward. Because even though they're less physical than us, they're still just as physical in their own reality. And everything that's more dense, you're able to experience. Just like us humans looking in the sky, we can't see air, we can't see light. Those are all less dense things than us. We can see light, but we can't, make a mold to it. We can't put it in a body. And to them, that's more reality, so they can see the denser things below them. So as far as noticing changes in your body to that extreme, you'll notice more changes in your consciousness than you will your physicality. At least that's what Treb has explained before.
Right, brother. That's true. It's like I said, it's going to be very gradual. It can't be an abrupt change because again we would not be able to handle it. This light has to transform. We're going through the DNA activation as well. So as we move through that slowly, that process very, very slowly, and as you said, brother, your consciousness and your vibration will dictate your ability to notice these changes, and that's really what it is. You'll actually notice the changes, but as we're moving forward and have the DNA changes as well, that will change our bodies and we might find our appetite getting differently. You might eat certain things differently, which of course will higher the vibration of the body itself. But as the earth raises its vibration, of course we're on it, so we have to raise ours as well.
Absolutely, brother, and that was perfectly explained. Thank you. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about too?
Oh, you guys, that is so good. Thank you, Rob and George. That is just perfect because I know I've been noticing changes, and I was getting in the idea that it had to be an abrupt change, but no, it's so well orchestrated that it's integrative, isn't it? And
absolutely.
And I am beginning to notice more things, almost like when you spoke. I'm actually looking at the sky right now, and of course I can't really see the light, but I'm beginning to consciously be aware that the light itself is a presence. And yes, thank you. That was such a great answer. I got it in my whole body as you said it.
Oh, well, we're glad we could help you too with that. I know that there's a lot of talk about ascension from a lot of different sources. And to me, the way I've seen it is some channeled entities, one of two things is happening with them. Either the channeler themselves have sort of imbalances within them that cause information to come out wrong, or some entities are a little bit deceitful in their messages. And there was a lot of entities who were well known, or groups of entities that were well known that were promising these gigantic, huge changes on December 21st. And the problem was that changes was there, but it's the ability of your own perception and consciousness to be able to perceive the changes and know that you can only change outside, and the outside extremities of yourself, anything external to you, on how quickly you change inside. So it wasn't that it was a drastic instant change right now and everything changes. This is giving you the energy to change if you wish, and if you do wish, using that energy to manifest your own reality to be able to change collectively. And that's what's a beautiful part of it.
Yes, brother, that's very true. And as we said earlier, it's the fifth dimension is here. It's with the DNA activation and the raising of our vibration is where we actually meet it, and so anybody that's drawn to channeling and spirituality is we can see it. I mean, it's coming by the thousands, and there's a reason for that. I mean, everybody is going to ascend. It's going to be done at their own level, and their own level is what they chose to experience. Again, let us not forget that we chose to be here in this time. Everybody that's here on Earth chose to be here in this time. So if we use that as a foundation, all of this information that we're gathering and spreading is basically to make the transition quicker so we can kind of remember what we already know, basically. But we'll get there together. We'll get there, and that's what's exciting about doing a show like this, because we can actually kind of break it down, what everybody is hearing through different channeling sessions, what they're reading, just kind of keeping it moving forward rather than kind of get stagnant. We having the forgetfulness of really having to keep your attention on this. I mean, myself, you have to be aware of it every minute of the day, that you're actually creating new belief systems to create this kind of this reality that we're all moving into together. So yes, nobody is being left behind in this ascension period. So we're just basically helping spread the knowledge and so we can all move together quicker.
Absolutely, brother. And the thing that I want to say as well is that many channel sources come to Earth's consciousness for many reasons. A lot of people ask me, which ones are the right ones, which ones are the wrong ones? Well, they're all right and they're all wrong. It just depends on your own perception. What I always tell people is when it feels right in your heart, not in your mind, listen to that. For me, obviously, Treb is the one that I listen to with the most weight in his word. But that's not because I channel him. It's because I resonate with him, and I'm able to channel him because I resonate with him. And that's why I find his information more resonating with myself than I do most other channels. And that's why I often tell people, if something Treb says doesn't resonate with you, don't take that for your truth. You have to discern through all channel material, because all channel material is coming through humans, and by all means, we're all faulted. Information comes through with channels who have learned to let go of themselves to be able to channel. It comes through more smoothly. It comes through more delicately. But that's all. It's all going to depend on your own resonance level with it. There are some people who listen to channeling that, in others' views, is very negative and very limiting, but it helps those people find themselves. It helps people find love within themselves. So I suggest any channeling, just discern it within your own heart, discern it within your own consciousness, and don't do it with your mind. If you do that with your mind, you'll find yourself very disappointed quite often. It's with the heart where it really has to resonate through.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, brother. Yeah, it's the heart. The heart is where we feel everything, and that's really the true decision point of what we're hearing. If you hear something that doesn't feel good to you, doesn't sound right, you really should question everything. So that would be my suggestion for everyone anyways, always question everything. But you know when you hear something that feels good to you, it just, that means it resonates with you. And the reason why there's so many channelers is because they're all teachers, and there's different ears for different channelers, and the message is brought out in ways that for different types of people and different personalities. So it's all moving to the same place, but whatever resonates with you is really the best way to go.
Absolutely, brother. And is there any more questions that you have with us this evening?
Well, it's not really a question, but thank you for asking. What I'm getting, and I'm getting it just speaking with you now today, more and more, is that this really is, this ascension, is where I'm at, is a process, and that it's going to happen. I mean, it is happening, and that the more I relax into it, the more I can be aware of the changes, and I can go along with it better from a relaxed position. I've got through the shock of that everything I learned since I was a baby is essentially practically wrong, all the third dimension constructs. I got that. I don't know what is right, and I'm not really into constructing anything. I'm finding that if I just relax, and I've always been an achiever, so I really want to do it right, I really want to do it right, letting all that go and just like listening to you guys, listening to what feels right in my consciousness, trying to see things with different eyes. It's a whole new world. But if I can just relax, somehow I must have it within me to pick up on what's right for me in this ascension process. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's loving yourself. And like I said, I always harp on this point, but loving yourself is really the most important thing that everybody should do. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Relax in it. I mean, know that you signed up for this. These inklings, these thoughts that you have, there's a reason why it is. Everybody's to awaken. So everybody's going to awaken at different points in time in this now moment. So you're absolutely right. When you were saying that, I loved it because relaxing and let go of the judgment and the way that you think it should be, because we're going to experience this on a level that it's so beautiful that you really can't put it into human words what we are going through right now. And knowing that we came here, each individual came here to hold the light, to be the light on this earth. We chose to be here. This isn't there's no accidents, there's no mistakes. Everything that each of us go through in our life experience is something that we basically we wrote. We wrote it to continue this journey for us remembering. So you're absolutely right. Just take it easy, but learn to love yourself and let go of those self-worth judgments, judging others. When you look at someone, just look at them as a soul. Doesn't matter what color they are, what nationality they are, what religion they are. They're all awakening too, and it's moving. There's changes you can see politically, economically. There's the system is breaking down, so we can get a new one and create these new belief systems. So it's so exciting, and so I'm really honored to be a part of it, and so glad to help.
Well, thank you too, brother. That was a beautiful explanation, and I would say if you're open to channeled material, and if you're aware of Treb's material, there's a video that George did with Treb called Why Wait Till December? And that's on the YouTube channel, Treb Channeling, Why Wait Till December? That's a really great one that talks about how the ascensional process works. Also, there's a couple of them with the words Ascension and 2012 in the title of them. So if you type in Treb Channeling Ascension or Treb Channeling 2012, it'll bring up a lot of great knowledge about Ascension and also about the process. There's also one that was called the December 21st edition through Treb Channeling. I believe it was with, I'm not exactly sure who it was with. I think it could be one of a couple people, but if you check those out, those help give you dynamics of ascension, because it is a very in-depth subject, and that's one that I think we'll cover too, brother, in the next couple of weeks, is ascension and laying out all the ins and outs of ascension and what it does. But basically, Treb's best advice is don't worry how you're going to ascend. Don't worry if you go negative or positive. All that stuff is not important. It's not needed. The only thing is being yourself. If you are yourself, if you're living in your excitement, if you're happy about who you are, then it doesn't matter how you evolve, because you will evolve to a place that fits your vibration perfectly. Again, that's what ascension's about, choosing your reality and sticking with it. And by loving yourself, loving others, not judging, just like you said, brother, that's really the key to getting through this. just being aware. Being aware is one of the greatest tools that I've learned in my own life to be able to help myself get through all the things that I used to think was hard. I've learned to be aware of my thoughts to such a high degree that I'm able to see manifestations happen within minutes or hours or days compared to what it used to take weeks or months to do. So just being aware of your thought process day in, day out, when you see yourself starting to go down that slippery slope of negativity and self-doubt, self-punishment, that's when you got to stop yourself and say, no, I am a divine entity, a portion of the Creator. I deserve to be here, and I create my reality. And that's why it feels bad now, because I'm thinking bad now.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah, and loving yourself and understanding your own divinity and your true nature. Learn those concepts, those basic foundations of what this is about. This transition's been going on for 35, 40 years. It's just reached its culmination on the 21st, but we still have to go past that point in this galactic alignment that we're passing through. But yeah, learning these basic foundations and like I said, us talking about it and helping our listeners kind of understand and breaking down these really they're really quantum thought, something that we never imagined, but it's really getting back to remembering little by little. So it's going to be great.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we thank you, too, for calling us today. We enjoyed it very, very much. We appreciate all of our callers, and I hope that we were able to help you with the ideas, and your comment at the end was very beautiful. We appreciate all the input you give us.
Thank you so much.
I love sharing with you guys. Just mute me, and I'll listen to the rest of the show on the phone.
Absolutely. I could definitely do that. Have a good day, and thanks again for calling. We really appreciate it. All right. Yeah, some of the content that was picked out was actually very similar to what we're talking about going through this ascensional process, staying in the positive. So we're going to roll our first audio clip, and this is a Treb Channeling video, and I'm going to get the title of it here for you guys. This was a video that was done with myself and George, and it was a very special subject matter. It was basically called Treb Channeling, A Message of Love. I believe that's the title of it. And it was done back in June, or maybe the month before June, but it was done recently, probably about 3-4 months ago at least, and it's still very, very relevant to this day. So we're going to roll this first clip, and me and George will listen to this too, and we'll give you a great breakdown of what this means. So here's the first clip. Oh, that's not the clip we wanted. Sorry about that. Here we go, clip 1.
I was wondering as well, could you let us know of the energies that are coming to the Earth now with the recent eclipses? And we've talked about this before, but to maybe give us the reasons for why we're feeling the way we're feeling.
Yes, this feeling of the energies that are being brought in from the universe, if you will, more specifically, the solar system collective consciousness is feeding specific energies to you with the addition of what you would say to be the 10th density galactic center entity that gives it essential energy to you. And in this combination, in this sum of energies, it is being expressed through many different ways. It is being expressed with the idea of uncomfortableness to entities who wish to change but cannot find this exerted effort or cannot find this specific reason or rhyme to be able to move forward into what they wish more. Ones who are living slightly on the edge of excitement but not within the complete and entire encompassment of this idea.
Are you able to hear me there, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not sure if, okay, good. I'm glad that it went through because I thought I was muted. So basically, that's how the dynamics of it work. Now, what was he talking about, brother, about how it comes through?
Well, basically, what, these different energies that come time are basically because we both as humans we're carrying this masculine and feminine energy. So depending on what we have more of or less of, that's how it affects us. And that's why there are times where, boy, we really get beat up one week, or we have a couple bad weeks, and these energies again, it's more purging and letting go of the old kind of paradigm of how we used to think, so we can kind of balance this duality that we have as human beings. So even the Earth is balancing its duality as well. That's why there's the weather changes and things of that nature. But basically, that's what he's saying. It's if we're experiencing a difficult time, it's the energies pushing us to get in balance. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, brother. Because sorry, I didn't know if you cut out just a little bit here and there, so I didn't know if that was Paul. But you're absolutely right, brother. That makes perfect sense. Now, when at the very end he said people who are on the precipice of finding excitement, to those who are just in the beginning of that, and what that means is that this energy pushes those belief systems, just like you were talking about, but it also pushes you to find your lot in life. It pushes you to find the design nature of what you truly are. And that means so many people we talk to on the show, so many people we talk to through Channeling Open Forum always explain how the one thing in their life that upsets them the worst is that they have no real great excitement. And they always find these things. Now, when you had talked to Treb about that for someone, brother, what was his advice to you, if you remember when you guys talked about not being able to find excitement?
Well, basically, what excitement it can be difficult at times, but again, learning to love yourself, to kind of understand what's going on, to kind of push yourselves in the direction. Your higher self is always sending you little intuitive signals, and it depending on how, I guess, stubborn you are is where you'll experience the difficulties, but you'll eventually get there. I mean, whatever you're really, and the easiest ways are what you're really motivated, what you enjoy doing. But if you happen to be one of those people that are really kind of confused and really don't have something going, I would definitely start by going inward and loving yourself. Loving yourself raises your vibration, and that will bring things into your reality that I mean, things can change in a moment. And by loving yourself and loving others raises your vibration, which brings things into your reality, since we create our own reality. So that would be my best advice for anybody that's having difficulty. Go within and kind of get yourself centered, get yourself in alignment, and your reality will outwardly show and bring something to you.
Absolutely, brother. Can you hear the dogs carrying on through the mute? Because I muted it, but I didn't know if the dogs are still carrying on.
Yeah, you can still hear them. Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. I'll make sure to end the dog parade. Give us 1 second, guys. All right, I apologize for that for everyone. The dogs, they go a little crazy whenever anyone's close to the house, and someone had just come in, a family member, to put their motorcycle in the garage, and that often gets them riled up. You guys know how pets are. Sorry about that. I agree with you, brother. I think that the one thing that people need in their life is that excitement, and they can't find any way to manifest anything in their daily life without that excitement. because that's how we run off of. That's the basis of our whole manifestational ability, is to live in that high vibration, and that's all excitement is. It's pure high vibration, and that guiding for it is what's very essential, I think.
Yeah, well, it's who we are. I mean, our true nature is love and light. That's our true nature. That's who we really are. So if we're not experiencing that, and everybody is going through this, so nobody has it easier than another person. Everybody's on the same level here. So no matter what you might think that, oh, this person's more spiritual or they're a channeler, that their life is easier, it doesn't work that way. Everybody's experiencing the same little imbalances that we normally experience through life. And so, but being more aware of it and loving yourself are really the two best things that you can do. Just try to calm yourself and relax through the situations that you're going in, and you'll really get there. But it'll help. It'll help greatly.
Absolutely, brother. And the thing you said too about people, spiritual people who channel, people who are gurus. A lot of people think that there is no such thing as turmoil or adversities to overcome in their life. But it's funny, on the last show that I did with Brad Johnson and Sean Swanson, we were having a question and answer for the channelers themselves, and they had asked the question, have you ever lost any friends or family members due to your channeled work? And it was very shocking to most of the people that we had all went through losses of people that we love in relationships, losses of friendships, things like that, because of things, our own imbalances in our own lives leading up to that, and not just that, but just imbalances in the relationship after we start to go down one path and other people stay the same. But it's really, really very common. Like you said, everyone goes through this together. It's not, no one's immune to having to go through adversities in this learning process. That's all what the ascension is truly about, is going through and learning more about yourself. And the thing that Treb said too about density entities, fourth density, you're not going to be able to exert unconditional love at the purest form, maybe how humans view it, but not to its purest form until you're graduated from the fourth density. Well, we're just starting the fourth density, so we've got many lifetimes to go through this before we can purely understand. But in our next incarnation, when we compare that to this one, it'll seem like pure unconditional love compared to how we can do it this time, because we'll be much more advanced at that point. We would have learned so much more, plus the energies that we'll go into will be more balanced as a whole in society. That's when people will start teaching the children at young ages how to be aligned instead of disconnected. And I think that's an important part too.
Oh, yes, absolutely, brother. I would imagine a large portion of the population are definitely old souls, and even the younger children. I would have to guess that the majority of people, the oldest souls right now, are the people are probably 20 and younger, because again, this evolution that we're going through, we need the younger generation to change the politics and the business arenas and things of that nature. So it's just, if you really think about it and you step back and you get a larger perspective, it's orchestrated so beautifully that, again, it can't be put into words, but it just is. It's the only way that it could that a transition could occur without actually, dismantling our current belief systems. It has to be a slow process.
Sure.
So it's really wonderful to be able to be in a position like we are, to be able to talk about this, because I feel, I get my highest excitement talking about this with other people, and I know you two do too, brother. It's just we're here almost, So to all of our listeners, it's a pleasure for us to talk about this and to explain really what the bigger picture of these things that we're hearing, these channeling sessions. So again, very excited about it.
Absolutely, brother. And that's my high excitement too. That's why we do it. So before we go to the next clip, what I'm going to explain, most people ask, why does the transition have to be a little slower? And it doesn't have to be completely slow, but it has to be an integration. Think about if you were able to manifest instantly right now. Every time you had a fear of someone being hurt or dying, you would help lend to that. Every time you had an emotional imbalance and was mad at someone, you would hurt them. Anytime you wanted something for selfishness, it would be there. So it can't be now. We have to evolve as a soul before our, most people look at it as powers, but it's our creative ability to be able to get to that level. So that's something that's real important. Right now, we'll go to this next clip here. We'll listen to it, and then we'll break it back down, brother.
This allows this group of entities to be able to experience this discomfort in order to be able to raise their vibration through advancement. The collective consciousness of Earth, in one way, believes that the only way that you are able to grow is through adversity. So this is what most of you experience. There are a certain few that are experiencing no adversity, but these entities are on a different mindset, a different belief system. These entities are on a system which allows growth to happen by expansion of consciousness. And all true growth is true expansion of consciousness, but you are not able to expand consciousness unless you are able to make room for it by removing old belief systems. So one group understands the belief systems have interfered or impeded their ability to grow through expansion, while the others truly expand without any walls or barriers to do this. So this is why there are two ways of thought and two major experiences that are happening.
All right, brother. So what did you take from that?
Oh, perfect. I mean, that's just what that the first caller was talking about. I mean, it's
perfect segue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically what he's saying that as a collective, these perceived negative experiences that we're going through, even the ones that are aware of their consciousness as light workers or light beings or whatever title you want to put on them, we're still in collective. So wherever we are individually, we're still have that connection with the collective consciousness as well. So unfortunately, we can't pull ourselves away. But what's so important to understand is that each individual consciousness, depending on your positive or negative state of being, kind of transfers into the grid around the Earth, that positive or negative feeling. So it's very important to be conscious at all times about how you're feeling and be aware of your thoughts, because you are creating your reality whether you believe it or not. And so gaining the consciousness of knowing you're doing that puts you in charge. I mean, you're in the driver's seat then. You can choose if you're experiencing something negative, that's something in your subconscious mind that is feeling the negativity, and so it's getting back in alignment, and then your reality will be more harmonious. So that's wonderful.
Absolutely, brother. And the thing that stuck out to me there was how Treb explained that you don't have to go through adversities either. A lot of us believe as a collective that no pain, no gain theory.
Right.
And that really, really does not serve us. That makes sure that we go through pain to get where we're going. And that's what always happens. Again, like you just said too, brother, perfectly, the perception is all there is. That's all that matters. When you're dealing with, let's say, a house fire, and your neighbor's dealing with the same house fire, the one who's calm, collected, not panicking, not scared, they're able to perceive this as an experience that can be overcame. But when you're panicking and scared and frightening, you're going to think that you're not going to make it out of this. You're thinking that everything you have is gone. All these different perceptions are in the same reality, but they give us a completely different outcome. That person who's calm and collected will be able to either put the fire out or get the people to safety. The one who's panicking will get injured or hurt other people. It's all about creating your own reality, and it does completely matter on a thought. And a lot of people say, well, I can't control my thoughts. I can't control my fears. I can't control. You can, and this is where the awareness comes in. It's a practice. Just like professional sprinters don't just sprinting. They don't just start sprinting from childbirth or from teenage years. They have to train themselves. They have to go through rigorous exercises, rigorous amounts of mental and physical training. It's the same thing with our consciousness. We have to put it through mental and emotional training. And I think that that's very, very important for all of us to remind ourselves. Good thoughts don't just come instantly. They come with work. They come with changes of perceptions, but most of all, changes of overall belief systems. And it's hard to break away from the collective sometimes. I get that completely. I'm a victim of that myself, a self-made victim of that myself sometimes too. It's just about seeing the truth of it, seeing that we're the ones who create it. And I think that's a wonderful thing to walk away with, is that even though it's rough to be responsible for your own pain and failures and things that seem negative, it's a great reminder of how much power you have when you're in that clear moment, or when you're in the negative moment, knowing you can pull yourself out anytime you choose.
Yeah, I mean, basically everybody is where they need to be, and if you get that, if you understand that realization, that means that your soul's journey that you signed up for is putting you through these different experiences to have the end result of you understanding your own divinity and that you are love. So whatever you can do to maybe be more aware of this in your daily productive life. If you're watching TV and it's generally negative anyways on TV. Myself, I don't watch TV. I just don't turn it on because there's really nothing there that for me personally. But if there's too many distractions in your life and too much drama, you could really learn to pull away from that stuff without hurting anybody else's feelings by just be conscious of your own thoughts. I mean, your reality will change. I mean, it just will. That's the nature of reality. The thoughts come from within. Whatever you're thinking is what you're going to perceive in your reality. So it's so important to be aware of that consciously, and when you do that, you'll actually see the change.
Sure, and that thought process is very important, but even one more dimension to that. It has to be the thought process in the now. So many of us get wrapped up with the past. What's happened before? Well, every time this occurs, this happens. It's proven. It's history. It's done it for my whole life. Well, with that thinking, with that belief, and with your emotional attachments to what's happened in the past, that's always going to be the same conclusion every time. So you're recreating that cycle. A lot of people can't get out of that past cycle to see that actually changing your own thoughts and knowing that past has nothing to do with now. That was just a previous point of your awareness, and now you're in your own place, but now that's the only true moment, and you can change anything you need to. You can make a situation that reoccurs stop occurring instantly just by being aware that you can. So don't rely on, well, how can I change this? How can I change my beliefs or my thoughts when it's always reoccurring? Because that's not the truth. That's furthest thing from the truth. The only thing that makes that the truth is because you believe it, because that's a faulted belief system that you're carrying with you, your inability to stay in the now. And that's a very, very big addition to that whole thought process and awareness that you have to go through.
Yeah, brother, that's true, and it is very difficult to understand the concept that the past is now and the future is now, it's we're creating the future in the now, but the past is going on concurrently. So just let those words kind of sink in and try to grasp. And again, that's why this show is here, is so we can understand these concepts, because they are quantum. It's like wait a minute, you mean that like last year is going on? I mean, there's an infinite amount of realities that are currently going on, and wherever your vibration is what you shift to. So don't look at it. You can't look at it through a logical mind. You have to create the new belief system to understand.
Absolutely, brother. You're starting to break up here a little bit, brother.
And the consciousness to understand that we're creating this as we go. So
sorry about that, brother. You're just a little bit
kind
lagged.
of fading in and out for some reason.
Yeah, it's a little bit lagged. The connection through here could get bad sometimes. Sorry about interrupting you, brother. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that we have to these concepts that we're talking about is really all about creating the new belief systems that we have to understand them. So we understand that first of all, that we're creating our own reality, and to be able to see the difference between one moment and the next is how you shift in your vibration to be able to perceive a different reality. So if that means that, you have to go within and get in alignment, that's why meditation is so rewarding, because it lets you step away from the drama that you think is going on and focus more on the self. So you can make those separations and see the different moments.
Absolutely, brother.
Time and how you're creating them. And again, it's PG, but we'll get into it in more depth. We're kind of understanding these.
Oh, sorry again. Another break. Another break came through, so I thought you were done speaking. You're lagging pretty bad, starting to break up real bad now. So that's I thought you were done. Sorry about that. Do you have any more to add to that, or were you done, brother?
No, I was done, brother.
Okay. All right. I agree with you, brother, completely. You're absolutely right. And we'll go to this next clip here real quick, and we'll play that.
As you are going throughout the rest of the year, there is another major cycle that happens in the August area, and this energy will be a very strong energy, one that will shake many entities to the very core of belief systems. This does not mean that negative things will happen. This is not indicating that physical disasters. So I do not wish you to take your mind to a fearful state, only to take it to a gratefully expressionate state of being able to overcome these disabilities, if you see it as this, emotionally, and also the mental disabilities, but mostly the disability of the ability to remove your own belief systems that no longer are serving you. So in this expression, at this moment, at the end of the year, as you are going through, many of you who have the one belief system, as most of the collective does, of going through negative events, things tend to shake you up from the core outwardly. Do not fear for this. Do not give yourself in to the depressive state. Do not give yourself into the fearful state. Do not be willing to give up on your own self, as this is all this is a tool to use to be able to manifest more of yourself that you wish to experience.
And I think that's a really, really great point. What's being said there from my own perception and my own perspective here is that Treb's explaining how detrimental fear is to the overall, not just the collective, but to each individual. When we approach these hardships, most of us tend to react with fear. It's a natural reaction for most of us because we've been trained with that same thought process, that things that are different are bad, things that we don't want to happen are bad. And Treb's just reaffirming that this is for a reason. It's to show us those negative belief systems again. And it's also pointing to the fact that most of us have these disabilities, or I think what he was trying to say was inabilities, but sometimes he uses different expressions. So the inabilities to see those fears in ourselves and to overcome them. But our biggest inability over anything is to be able to not change our beliefs. That's the biggest part, and that he's drilling in on that belief system changing, that you've got to get to that point where you're able to change your belief systems, because that's what creates reality. And Treb's described it as this before. If your life is a computer program, your beliefs are the programming that makes it stable. It's the walls that are around. Nothing can go inside, nothing can go outside of those walls of your belief system. So everything in your life has to be within those belief systems. That's the programming. Your thoughts are new input or reactions in the data to the new program. So every time you put in your thought, you're getting new equations solved. You're getting new feedback from that program. But the actions that you take from your thoughts and your beliefs, that's what cements the complete program altogether. That's what makes you experience everything in that program. And I think that it's really important. If you can see it in that way, then you understand how detrimental bad beliefs are. We can't even experience things outside of that belief. And because most of us look at life like we live in an environment that's completely negative, we have almost a spectrum of visibility when it comes to our reality that says our lives can be this horrible. Our lives can be really, really, really bad, but they could be really good. So everything between A and B, that's our belief system. That's our walls. We can never break out of that, and we will experience everything from the very worst we believe we could experience to the very best. So it's very important to see the power of those belief systems.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah, it's really all about choice at this point. As we all start to awaken together, we'll start to understand more of the creation of our own reality. And what Treb was talking about in that clip was basically these energies are being sent to us, to the entire Earth, and depending again on where we're at individually, they will affect us differently. But I mean, it's so beautiful just to know that. I mean, to be able to have this knowledge as it's happening, and again, there's waves of them, so they're still coming. So you'll see the stresses and chaos that are going on in the world. It's because of these energies that are going on, and the sooner we all, learn to understand about what's going on, the sooner we'll easier adapt and choose a more positive perspective and reality.
Absolutely, brother. I agree with you 100%. And I do want to apologize to everyone for the reactions. Animals are animals, and I can't really apologize for them. Sorry that it's been a consistent interrupter tonight. Besides the animals, though, I think we've plugged away on a lot of awesome concepts, a lot of awesome ideas, and that's thanks to the collective. That's thanks to every one of you who are listening, co-creating, and also the ones who call in and help bounce this information off each other. Me and George understand a lot of things, and me and him talk so much off the air, and we talk about these concepts. Every day we talk about a new concept or a new idea, and we're always having that experience. And that's what led us here. What led us here is knowing that those conversations find places in our heart that brings out the best of both of us, that brings out new concepts from the higher self, that brings out new possibilities and probabilities in our own life. And that's the thing to see. Once we're able to change our thoughts and change our energy and change our belief systems, we're open to more. And the more you're open to yourself, the more you're open to what's outside of you, too. Because, again, that's just a reflection. And it's very, very important to look through that. I'm going to go ahead and play this last portion of the clip here real quick, brother. It's a little bit longer than the other three have been, but it's still very, very important stuff. Here we go.
And if you put your negative energies into this, if you dwell on these negative things or what you see to be negative, you are only bringing more negativity to your experience. You will remove this belief system in one way or another. You will remove all of these negative belief systems in one way or another. But the more that you focus upon this, the harder and the longer it will take to remove these. It is a rinsing of the consciousness of the ego. This is the stage as a 9-year post-cycle of the December 21st area through a 9-year cycle. This is what the 9-year cycle is meant to be. It is to be a releasing of all of the ego. It is a releasing of what no longer fits humanity, what no longer suits the collective, all the way down to the individual. Understand at the most basic points of idea that you are creating your own reality, but you are only able to experience what you are able to experience by the vibration that you hold. So as you are in this expression of removing this, if it takes you in a negative way and you dwell upon this, then you are placed in a collective consciousness that also dwells in the negativity. If you wish to move beyond this, then you must see these negative things for what they are. They are truly building blocks to be able to experience more of what you wish to be. Do not judge these things as negative or positive. Only see them for what truly they are. This will help assist you to move through this with the least amount of resistance that you are able to, and still be able to expand your consciousness in this growth.
All right, brother. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's so beautiful. I haven't heard that one in a while, but it's basically whatever we're going through, positive or negative, it's showing us where we're at vibrationally. If we're going through something negative, and really the negative really outweighs the positive just because of all the drama that's going on in our lives, but it's basically there to show you, hey, do I want this? And why is this happening? It's the ego that makes us think, too logically, where we're worried about, tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. That's all ego. And he also expressed that 9-year period. That's how slow it has to move before we start understanding what's going on. So again, it can't be an abrupt change. It can't be just like from one day to the next day and we're all, everything's perfect. It can't work that way just because of the what is it, 16,000 years of being in the black, so to speak. Now we're moving into the light where we have to transition our bodies, not only on a molecular level, but on a consciousness level, to raise our vibration. The earth is raising its vibration, and so we're moving along with it. So everybody is right where they need to be, but whatever's going on, it's just kind of a little window into where your vibration is at and where your head's at any given moment.
Absolutely, brother. And the one thing that stuck out to me more than anything when Treb was talking is he said that we're going to go through these belief systems and we're going to do it in one way or another.
Right.
And doing it in one way or another, basically what that means to me is, are we going to go through this easily and quickly, or are we going to drag this whole thing out and beat ourselves to death with it? Because that's what it sounds like to me. If we're going to let go of those belief systems one way or another, to me that means the easy way or the hard way. And right. I know what the hard way is, and it's not fun. And for those of us who are stubborn with changing our beliefs, we will go through that, and we will do it as long as it takes. If it's 2 weeks or if it's 5 years, we will go through that belief system until we're purged of it. And these energies are forcing that. They are making us see who we are. And that's what Treb was saying about making you see who you truly are, we all are aligned in one way. We're all aligned with what we truly are, whether we're negative, positive, in between. And we have to be able to see that. And these situations that we perceive as bad continuously push us to find ourselves. And when we perceive it as bad, that's when we're being stubborn. That's when we continue to let it beat us up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah, it's, again, we talked about this in the beginning of the show, but again, we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to be gentle with ourselves. This is it's really such a glorious time, but within that, there's going to be some chaos that we have to work through. It's getting through all the past life karma that we've been carrying with us. That's in our DNA that we have to purge. Again, we can get as deep as you want, but that's why we're here to kind of lighten it up and really give you the main points of what's going on without getting too egocentric about everything that's going on. We have to really put things in perspective and give an easier meaning, but really the foundation is just it's loving yourself, being kind to others, understanding that whatever you're going through it is there for a reason, to show you it's something that you have to purge on your journey to enlightenment or awakening in this transition. So it's just, we just all need to talk about these things, relax about them, and just kind of understand more, have an open mind about what's going on and why it's going on. And I think we'll if we go through this together and express ourselves together, I mean, what wonderful callers. All of our callers that call in and have really just, I mean, it really amazes me how much they know. And it really gives me so much, not only hope, but just, it's like, man, there's other people out here that get it, And so if we can expand that and if we can help other callers call in with these beautiful questions so we can talk about these things, it's really going to help us all together.
Absolutely, brother. And I think that's perfect way to explain that co-creation is what really helps us get through these. And these ideas have to be sorted through. Literally, these things that we deal with on a daily basis, it's hard to get through them by ourselves. But collectively, we can hold each other's hand through this. We can talk from the heart with true friends. And most of us in our daily lives have really hard times finding people who live close to us or large amounts of people who are really resonant to us. So often we go out into the internet communities and we find spiritual pages. We go to the show to find spiritual connections. All of these things are such useful tools, and that's all we want to do is be a tool for you guys when you don't have that at home or when you don't have that in your daily life. I think that's very, very, very important. We've got a couple of callers online. I believe one of them is the last caller. So let's go to the 401 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, Rob. This is Kimberly Cole. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, Kim.
I'm great, too. Hello, George. It's nice to hear your show tonight. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How are things going, Kim?
Very well, thank you. Lots of adventures and interesting inquiries taking place. I'm really having a good time. And I wanted to let you know how much I appreciated all the things you were saying tonight, and the clips, by the way, because a couple of things really stood out to me, and I wanted to share for other listeners as well, that when you remove judgment from things, and also kind of tying it into what you were talking about with changing our past and projecting or changing probabilities of our futures by living in the now, that we can actually stop those patterns of thought, say like, I've always done it that way, or I've always reacted that way to that type of thing in my life, and it really can change. And it's funny, as we progress, it almost feels like everything in the past does fade away, because you're almost rewriting your own history and transforming into what you essentially really are at your core of your soul. So it was really special to hear that, because I don't know if a lot of people realize that they're not condemned to be the way they have been all their life. They're not condemned to be that way. They can just change.
Oh, right.
And it's really refreshing to be able to do that. But also, by removing judgment, it's almost like, I don't know if you've ever heard of that book, A Course in Miracles.
Sure, I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never read it, but I've heard many people talk about it.
Yeah, I used it for a little bit. I didn't complete the course, but what was interesting was some of the practices that you start out with. And one of them is simple, and I'm just going to use an example. Have a pencil and set it on a table in front of you. And if you didn't know what it was, how would you react? So the idea is, with everything in life, almost look at it with new eyes and say, if I didn't have all that learned knowledge from school, from family, from religion, whatever, how would I see this? And even when you're looking within and working on loving yourself, to not shy away from those things, because you might think a certain thing about yourself or about a physical thing or an entity or just an event in your life just from learned behavior. And with the practice that you were talking about and making the effort, it really does make a difference when you see things like brand new, almost like a brand new child who doesn't know. And that's why I think, like you said, it's really important to have faith in our youth, because they are old souls probably coming down to enjoy this and shake things up a little bit on the planet, and I think that they're capable of it, and without prejudice and without judgment. And fearlessness is also another quality of a child or a youth, and I really appreciate all those qualities about them. So there's definitely hope.
Absolutely. I think that's probably one of the biggest assets we carry. So many of the younger people are coming now from these backgrounds of having spiritual parents, and they have a instant understanding. I've talked to many people that are younger, in their high teenage years. I don't talk to many children about spiritual things because they're already in that zone themselves, but so many of the teenagers and young 20s, they get it instantly.
Mhm. They do. It's almost like I don't want to say learned behavior. It's inherent. It's within them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's automatic. Yeah. I think
That's
it has to do with
Kim.
the DNA changes.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, thank you for having that awareness to bring that question up, because it's you're absolutely right. It's if you notice the younger adolescents, they just don't care, and you look at them and you're like, that's really the way we all should be. I mean, not to have this fear, and they're as they become more as the earth becomes more populated with that way of thought, the systems have to change to adapt to them, and so they're really learning to let go of these tight, restrictive ways. Gotta have this degree, and you can't get this job because you're not qualified, and all of these really silly notions, and start to break away from those things, and by loving yourself and really being aware, you'll find your reality just brings towards you these wonderful experiences that help you go down another road. So thank you so much, Kim. That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Kim. I agree with you 100% too, brother. It's a change collectively. It comes from the bottom up, and the new people. Just in the time I was a kid to how I've seen government people. Obviously, the people who are in government are much older than I am, but I see things in the public, even in the work sector, entrepreneurs coming through, being open-minded, free. You could even see it in the laws that are being made. They're giving people more rights. They give homosexual people the right to be married now. They're starting to open that. They're starting to open up more laws to be based on freedoms of people. So it's an open mind. And the more that we grow as a race, the more that this understanding generation will embrace that. And I really appreciate that, too, very much, Kimberly. I appreciate it more than you know.
Well, thanks for taking my call, and I'm glad to be able to share. I hope that anyone listening understands how important it is that, no matter what you're going through and no matter how you seem to be judging yourself, negative, positive, whatever, just step back from it and understand that everything is just perfect, and to not condemn yourself in any way either, because I'm sure that we're all right where we need to be, and that's all part of, starting to be able to love yourself regardless, and your circumstances really don't matter, and it's your spirit, So,
yeah,
thanks,
that's
guys.
absolutely. Oh,
hey, thank you,
so much,
Kimberly.
Kim.
We appreciate your call, and every time you call, it makes us smile. So thank you.
Love you, Kim. Thank you.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
And thanks again, Kimberly, for calling in. And thanks to everyone for calling in. We've had a great show tonight, despite a few animal malfunctions and a couple blog talk, radio aired distractions. We've done pretty well tonight. I think a lot of the content here was priceless. I think it stands in time eternally. What'll be true today will be true 20 years from now and 30 years from now. It's very timeless. And I appreciate you, brother, for co-creating this with us, doing your job, breaking this down, making it understandable for everyone and reading between the lines, just as you do so well, brother.
Yeah, well, like really, Kim said it all right there. I mean, it's we have to relax about ourselves, and we're this is the time right now where you have to learn to let go and be non-judgmental, like Kim said, about yourself, so you can do that to others. And it just creates so much goodwill, and by if there's someone you dislike, you gotta send them love them to death, from afar, and always have love in your heart all the time, and just learning to, again, it's not something you can do right away. It's a process, but start to understand the ideas, the basic foundations of loving yourself. When you do that, you have no other choice than to love everybody else in the collective, and that puts all of that positive energy into the grid, and it just makes the changes that we see, our perceptions and things like that. So I feel so positive about the wonderful callers that we have, being able to decipher these messages, and really we'll start to break these down more and more, and as we get more listeners maybe chiming in and really telling us their experiences and expanding on that, I'm so excited for that, and I really look forward to that. Thank you, brother.
Well, thank you, brother. Absolutely. I'm excited about that, too. And this will be our new system in the show. We're making several changes, but we're going to do it slow, and we're going to test each one out and see how it works. But I think using these clips is a very, very good way to get through and to expand on a lot of the information that we take in. And that way we're also able to keep it focused on a specific subject at hand. Callers are invaluable, as you always know. We are here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific Time. You can call us at 347-308-8788, or you can connect through us, sign up for a Blog Talk Radio account if you only have Skype, and do it that way. Or you can call in that number if you don't want to call in but you want to listen and you don't have good internet access. Call that 347-308-8788, and you don't have to talk to us. If you don't hit number 1, when the menu comes up, you can listen in the background, and you'll never even come up on the switchboard. So don't be afraid to listen to us that way, too. We're also going to start working on getting these out on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to start working on that diligently here soon. But we're here for you every week, rain or shine. One of us or both of us will always be here for you guys, regardless. So if you need to talk, if you want to listen, whatever way you choose to experience this show, we just want to help you guys, and we're so happy that we can. Is there anything you want to say real quick, brother? We've only got a couple more minutes left before we go.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I just wanted to, again, thank all the listeners and the callers. Please, I know it takes courage to do that. I mean, if you really think about it, to call in and express yourself with this new type of I don't even want to call it spirituality, but the new paradigm of reality, the new nature of reality. So, listening is great. If you can call in and express your situation or your experiences, that helps us expand more consciousness and learn different ways of how other people are experiencing their reality. So again, I'm so grateful to be able to help with this, and look forward to next week. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, brother, and thank you too. Again, every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. And for all of you who missed this Sunday's event, it was supposed to be the open forum. But what I did do in George's absence is I did a 2-hour program that I called the Density Masterclass. And this is extensive basic teaching of densities, dimensions, the growth of the soul. There was a lot of subjects covered, really, really priceless work. So if you get a chance, it's also on YouTube. You can go there anytime and type in Density Masterclass with Rob Gauthier. Me and George are going to start doing more programs such as that, getting deep and detailed information that you guys want to know. So let us know that Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour on Facebook. There's a page there. You can contact us there. You can contact us on Facebook. You can contact us at trebchanneling.com. That's www.trebchanneling.com. Get a hold of us. Let us know what's going on. Pretty soon we're going to get an email set up, too, for the Rob and George show, and we'll get that set up for you guys next week. But we're going to bring this to you guys more clearly, more deeply, with all of our heart, all of our love. We are now focusing 100% of all of our external energy that we have in order to help you guys and to do whatever we can to raise the collective. We love you guys so, so much. This is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we'll see you guys next week, Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Come join us. Give us a call, whatever you want to do. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.